Hello everyone and welcome back to a high-level match of StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a best-of-5 series of Terran versus Zerg, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Cosmic Sapphire. Now spawning here in the top left-hand corner, playing with the red Terran SCVs from South Korea, we have ByuN. His opponent in the opposite corner, playing here with the blue Zerg drones, likewise also from Korea, we're looking at soO's main hatchery. Alrighty, so this particular best-of-5 series, as of me casting it, it was played yesterday, but I think I'll probably be publishing this video in like 2 or 3 days from now. Anyhow, it's been played very recently. Should give us a good overview of where these players are currently at. Maybe, however, you're watching this video in like 3 years' time. Maybe one of you has clicked on this video in like 2026. Believe it or not, that is in 3 years from now. I know, that's a little bit weird, but anyhow, yeah, maybe you've clicked on one of my older videos. First off, thank you for watching. Secondly, you should probably hit the subscribe button so you get notified of, you know, newer videos. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to sell out right away. What we've got right here is a spawning pool first from soO, and I believe 16 supply, now followed up with a 17 supply hatchery. If it takes a gas really quickly, there is a chance he's going to be using this aggressively, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that he likes to do against ByuN, because ByuN, of course, is very fond, especially right here on Cosmic Sapphire, to wall the front off with just 2 of those barracks. He's been going for quote-unquote proxy Reapers quite a bit, where, well, the proxy is his own natural expansion, so I guess it's not really much of a proxy at all, but it is a little bit funny. The Reapers still get across the map rather quickly, and they can deal quite a bit of damage as well. No early game aggression, though, I don't think, here, coming out of soO. That is a relatively late gas, and right now the Zerglings are running across. One thing you can, of course, do is send these Zerglings in such a way that you... If there's no SCV scout, you can trick the opponent into sending their Reaper back home, as you can harass the SCV that's building the CC on the low ground. So that's exactly what's happening right now. ByuN, however, okay, sending the Reaper around the main base. He sent the Reaper around to the main base, and now he finds 4 Zerglings in the middle of the map. Now, this is really good right here for the Terran player, because he should be able to kill the majority of these. They're already running around, desperately trying to split up, so at least some of them will stay alive. Okay, Zergling attempted to go into the main base. At least he sees the timing right there of the factory and the reactor as well, but honestly, this really shouldn't be all too great right here for soO, because he ends up losing a couple of Zerglings. He already took a little bit of an economical hit, going for a spawning pool first, rather than a hatchery first, and yeah, this is not really what you're looking to do. Clever little movement right there by ByuN, who's now also looking to grab one of those creep tumors, and he will get it. Especially with a delayed queen opener, losing that very first creep tumor sucks. I've had that happen many times in my own games. The thing is, right, it's exponential. As this progresses, that creep tumor, it could spread over here, and then over there, and then over there, and then eventually you can spread it over in that direction. It makes defending those mid-game timing attacks from ByuN that he's so very fond of significantly easier if you don't lose that very first creep tumor. Beautiful grenade over there as well, by the way. He knew that he wasn't going to get too much out of it, but at least he ended up, well, pushing those units around. Fair enough. Ooh, he's going to jump back in once more. Ooh, Roach Warren is coming up here for soO. ByuN, okay, he sees it right away. He clicks on it. He knows what he's playing against. Excellent movement here from ByuN. Is he going to be able to get out as well? He will. All right, so this game is going... Okay, Roach Warren got cancelled, by the way. This game is going really well right now here for ByuN. He knows what he's playing against. The only downside, I guess, is that, well, the Roach Warren got cancelled. There is a good chance that he's going to be calling that bluff because the structure just started up. Yeah, so instead, soO right now is going to spend his resources on going for a quick lair. Fair enough. He is going to do the switcheroo, so he is going to respect it. He is going to go for a Banshee. Banshees are very important when it comes to defending against those roaches. Okay, he's also going to go for the cloaking upgrade. So 4 Hellions right now flying across the map inside of a medevac. This was, I think, scouted here by an Overlord. So at least soO should know that these units are coming across. Well, I say that. So in ByuN's mind, those roaches are going to arrive at about the 5-minute mark. So he knows that there's a good chance roaches are right now in the middle of the map. Okay, gets one of the Hellions. That's nice. Gets a second Hellion too. Okay, not the most successful drop right there for ByuN. He's looking around right now. He's going to poke here with the Hellions. Yeah, he's looking around to see if there's any Ravagers morphing in on his side of the map. Now realizes that I don't think any of that is happening. What he's going to do with the Banshee? Banshee is looking to go across as well, but it's taking a different path. So ByuN is covering essentially all of the ways that the opponent can go across the map, and by now he should realize that indeed that Roach Warren was cancelled, and instead it was a quick lair together with a Nidus network. So Su is gonna try and double down here on the aggression. Still trying to trick the opponent, but honestly all of this feels a little bit desperate, right? Like none of it really screams confidence to me. There is a third command center building here. Obviously, you don't have as much vision here on a structure that's still going around, but the SCV is scooting in that main base, or in that, you know, command center as well. It's going around building wherever it can. So sometimes he's got vision of this dark spot, sometimes he's got vision over here. Despite the fact that ByuN hasn't seen the Nidus Worm, he knows that there's a good chance that it's going to be happening. I mean, that Overlord is there. You know, it's hanging out there for some reason, right? Why would it be in that corner right now? He also just scanned the main base and he sees no Evo Chambers, no Spires. Okay, he sees very little. There are Zerglings here at the front. Banshee in the main base still available. Banshee alone is not going to be enough, but the SCVs, yeah, they do put in a little bit of work, and now the second Banshee also arrives. Honestly, an amazing game so far here for ByuN. He's now going to commit to Nidusing right outside of the natural. He just lost a bunch of Lings as well. Yeah, just knocking right here at the front door. Queens are probably, yeah, they're already inside of the Nidus Worm, so they are planning on coming across too. There's already a siege tank out. Second siege tank is on the production tab as well. Spire on the back of this. I honestly don't think this is really going to deal a lot of damage. I mean, he doesn't commit super heavily here. It's not like he's got a massive army here either. The problem is, everything, okay, let's get a medevac. Everything here is relatively normal for ByuN, right? He's going for Stimpack, he's going for the double upgrades, he'll go for combat shields soon enough. And by the time that Terran army is going to move across, there's a good chance that the Bailing Speed upgrade is not done. And without the Bailing Speed upgrade, what exactly are you going to do, well, against that Bio army? Just Zerglings unupgraded? Maybe he's planning on making a bunch of Mutas, but Mutas unupgraded. I mean, this is not StarCraft Brood War. You guys should go back in the Worm. Oh no, don't lose the Queens. Well, he's thinking about fighting it. Okay, yeah, he unloads a couple more Zerglings. Does get a decent wraparound, but now there's 2 tanks available. In the meantime, there's also some aggression over here. One of the Banshees does go down here, it seems, to the Spore Crawler, but 6 workers have already gone down. Tank also falls on the other side of the map. Yeah. I mean, losing Banshees, obviously you don't want to lose them, but they are going to fall pretty much regardless. As soon as the mid-game arrives, which we are just about to enter, I don't think this is really something that ByuN is going to be too upset about. I mean, he lost 1 tank, but he's getting a hell of a lot of damage done here on the other side of the map. This is rough here for Su. Su is getting completely outplayed. There is a Spore Crawler in the natural, but it's not in the right place. 14 workers have gone down just to these couple of Banshees. Now the Mutas are out. So at least this will get killed, but in the end, a resource is lost. I mean, a bunch of Marines also have fallen, so there is a chance that, yeah, the Terran's not going to feel too comfortable pushing across the map at this point. I mean, this is ByuN though we're talking about. He'll probably be loading those Marines into medevacs here momentarily. He does need 1 more scan. Okay. Anyways, Su, of course, has been playing this style since 2010. Mutaling Bane is something he's played more so than probably any other Zerg player out there. He's very fond of his unit comp, but I just... Yeah, ByuN is reading this correctly. He knows that this is an upgrade that is not going to be finished just yet. So he knows he's also on the clock, but... yeah, he's got about another 20 seconds or so to really go in. Okay, that's exactly what he's trying to do. There are a couple of Banelings available. If he overstays his welcome, though, he's going very deep right now onto the creep. So Trifical Hooks is going to finish up right now. Siege tanks, however, already sieged up. Is there enough here for Su to clean all of this up? He's going to try and collapse on top of this. Banelings need to be microed on top of the Marines. Don't want them rolling into the tanks. Good control here. Nice micro as well by ByuN. Oh, at least momentarily. Okay, he ends up losing a bunch of Marines. He was targeting with the siege tanks in the middle of that clump of Banelings. So at the very least, he killed a bunch of those before they got to his Marines, but eventually they did get there. And Su is trying to stabilize. The only thing I don't like at this point for Su is the fact that these upgrades are super late. I also actually don't really like the fact that he doesn't have a 4th base yet. He really should have finished this one up. But other than that, this is relatively playable, especially if those Mutas can now get some damage done on the other side. Okay, loses one mute. No, he does not lose one of the mutas. Juking right there with the mutas, trying to get as much value out of them as possible. Okay. Marine's still on the other side, though. And now the queens are falling. That is rough. Ends up losing a bunch of those for what seems essentially free. Muta's now going after the missile turret here as well. Only a couple Marines remaining to keep that third CC alive. A lot of SCVs are going to go down, but at the same time, this fifth hatchery here at the bottom. Maybe this was actually the fourth. I don't know. But that one is also going to get shut down. +2/+2 is finishing up here for ByuN. This is before 1-1. Yeah, okay, so when you finish up 2-2 and your opponent just starts up 1-1, all the trading up to that point, pretty much irrelevant. All of these fights, I mean, as long as they are relatively even, right? All of these fights right now are going to be so much nicer here for ByuN. He's got about 2 minutes. He's got about 2 minutes where he's going to be 4 upgrades ahead on his opponent. Plus, he can even go into 3-3 research if he really wants to, which is something that soO can't do until his hive is done. Now, I've seen soO play a lot of Mutaling Bane. Usually, when he's behind in these scenarios, what Zergs do is they will stick on Lair Tech. They will just sit on Lair Tech the entire time. Maybe he'll go for a hive as soon as he starts up 2-2. That isn't a choice, but okay. ByuN decides to play this safely. He could go for an all-out assault right now. But instead, he decides to go for another command center and morph that one into a planetary fortress. Yeah, he's respecting the mutas. Not a lot of players actually play mass muta anymore. So this is 18 mutas at this point. That is more than what we normally see. A lot of the guys like to go for like one group of mutas. So you go for like 8, maybe 12. And then you transition away from them once again. But soO is known to double down. And when you do go up against like 20-something mutas, they can actually start counterattacking and just destroying all of your stuff. And obviously you have to push onto creep if you're caught on the other side of the map, and then you have to fight banelings on creep. Things get a little bit uncomfortable. There is this number of mutas, and I don't know exactly what it is, but... Well, 3 missile turrets is going to be a bit much, but... There is a number here where... If you have enough of the mutalisks, you can definitely start, well, sniping these missile turrets with like 3 volleys, and then... Things get a little bit uncomfortable. I'm surprised soO has actually still found himself in this position, though. Like... That Roach Warren was failed, the Nidus Worm was failed. His opponent dealt a ton of damage on the other side of the map. I mean, he lost tons of his drones. At this point, he's also killed 27 SCVs, though. I guess that is what is allowing him to stick in here. Not bad at all. I know I talk about upgrades a lot, but it's honestly so critical. So 3-3, halfway done, as 2-2 starts up. Now we do have a fight right here happening off creep. Apparently, ByuN is... Okay, he's going to be pushed around here for at least a moment. Don't think that was the best fight right there, no, for soO whatsoever. I'm not sure why he decided to take the fight off creep. Maybe he was hoping that his opponent was sleeping on the job, so that happens all the time, right? Where you maybe distract them with a couple of Zerglings on the left side of the map, and then you collapse in on top of their army. And then suddenly, when they least expect it, they end up losing all of their units. Those are desperation moves usually, though, when you're fighting a bio army off creep, because there was really no reason for soO to fight here, other than the fact that he saw an opportunity and he decided to take it. Okay. Now, if this game goes on for another 10 minutes, that upgrade situation is likely going to be completely nullified, and everything is going to be even. At this point, soO does have more workers than his opponent, so we're talking 78 drones versus 69 SCVs. That's pretty nice. But I've got a feeling ByuN is going to go for an attack very soon. Yeah, he's already slow pushing forward with a couple of those Widow Mines. Okay, he's trying his best to connect here on top of those banelings. Good splits right there as well, taking little amounts of damage. Where's the rest of his army now? I feel like this is not everything. Okay, there's a Thor. A lot of units are just about to pop out of their production structures as well. And there's a huge chunk of units here in the bottom left-hand corner as well. soO trying to see if maybe the opponent has already taken the golden minerals, but I don't think ByuN is in a mode where he really needs that. Instead, he's going to be pushing forward here, getting rid of a bunch of creep tumors. It's going to take a couple of seconds here before the creep starts dissipating, but once it goes, these fights will be a whole lot easier. Can he fight once again off creep? That's exactly what ByuN is trying to force right now. If he can bait that Zerg army off creep, that is exactly where he wants them. Good spread right there on the Marines. The concave once again well, seemingly beating the Convex. There's the Muta showing up as well, but that Thor, with those Javelin missiles dealing a ton of damage. At the same time, that group of Marines from the bottom left-hand corner stimming in towards the base at the 6 o'clock position. And I've got a feeling, yeah, that's GG. Alright, next up, we find ourselves on the map Stargazers. ByuN gonna go for the low ground wall off, it seems, right here on this map. Not sure if I like it all too much here, because right now when you go for your add-ons, they're gonna appear on the right side right here, right? So if he wants to go for a tech lab, he wants to go for a reactor or something along those lines. I'm assuming there's gonna be a second SCV, yeah. Those add-ons are gonna be exposed, whereas if he would do this on the other side of the map, obviously they would, well, still spawn on the right side, and they would be behind the safety right there of the barracks. Anyhow. Let's see. I mean, that previous game was unfortunate for soO, but he actually played that out rather well. I think a lot of Zergs would have lost by like the 8-minute mark, but he stuck in there, he made the right amount of units, he took the right engagements, and he actually still hung in there. It's just that he, yeah, took a lot of damage early on, and the game tends to spiral out of control from there. He still managed to stick around, though, for like 15 minutes there in total, I think. Honestly, longer than I anticipated, so maybe a little bit unlucky there in the earlier stage of the game, but that's StarCraft. That happens from time to time. Now, that is funny. soO's sees a random supply depot here. That is not where you'd expect it at this point in the game. So he must realize at this point that there's a wall off here at the front, right? Because you don't actually need a second supply depot to, well, completely wall this off, but... anyways, he's probably going to confirm this here. Yeah. Not a whole lot you need to worry about anyways, because for now, there's going to be a Reapers on the production tab here for the Terran. I say that. Okay. He doesn't have a lot of gas anymore. He might go for Marines here very shortly already. Command Center on the back of this as well. And this is that build that I expected him to play in the previous one, and that I actually think soO expected him to play in the previous game too. It's nice because it... yeah, it really does allow you to put on a lot of pressure on the other side of the map if you feel confident in your Reaper control. The obvious downside, though, of having those two barracks at home is that, well, the Reapers just simply arrive a whole lot later. I've got a feeling this is one of those builds that is good currently, just because a lot of Zergs are not very comfortable playing against it. Like, do you treat this as a cheese? Do you treat this as a macro build? Like, how exactly do you approach this, right? Do you still go for your quick third hatchery? Well, apparently soO has decided that no, you do not go for your third hatch, but I can imagine there's a lot of Zergs that are looking at this and are like, I don't know actually how to approach this. Because this is it is a commitment, but not a very big one. Yeah, so he's made a lot of links. So far he's lost nothing, but he is sitting at 12 Zerglings here. Okay, well, that's Brenda going down. Queen actually going down at this point in the game really does suck. At least revenge was taken right there on that one Reaper. But I believe that ByuN would like to trade a Reaper for a Queen any day of the week. Yeah, so the only thing I don't like about this is this right here, right? This is... if there would be non-stop aggression coming out of soO right now, and I've got a feeling, honestly, if ByuN would do this against Dark, Dark would probably go for Roaches just because of the spawn location. Just because those add-ons are so exposed. Like, this upgrade finishes up at, like, what? I don't know, 4.5 minutes? Maybe a little bit later than that. You've got quite a bit of time to send units across the map. Losing that upgrade really sucks because it essentially hinders the entire mid-game of Terran, and any timing attack that ByuN wants to go here, yeah, any timing attack that he wants to go for from here, it's all hinging on that Stimpack research. Right now, soO scouts it, but not much you can do. There was that one game I casted some time ago. I don't remember the exact matchup, but we did have one game where someone ended up sniping the opponent's add-ons over and over and over again, and oh, it just got really painful because at some point you had like, we were like 8 minutes into the game and the Marines still did not have Stimpack, they still did not have combat shields. Life becomes a little bit tricky at that point for the Terran. Instead, right now though, ByuN, how many barracks do we have? Ooh, okay, so one thing I actually did not touch upon yet is that he follows this up with a 4 barracks approach right now. So this is kind of like a 3 Rex, but with 4 barracks. I know that sounds really silly to say, but Zerg players will usually read into this as a triple Rex rather than a 4 Rex. And yeah, a 4 Rex opener definitely does give you more Marines. So 25 Marines already available. Quite a few of them though are on the other side of the map. Not sure exactly if there's much he can get done over here, but at the very least he's forcing a ton of Zerglings here out of the Zerg, who really would like to be making a lot of drones at this point. Okay. Yeah, that's another reason actually why I think a Roach Ravager follow-up here would have been quite good from soO. But then again, I also don't know what the ideal response is against this opener here that ByuN is going for, so... I think until people figure out exactly how you're supposed to approach that build from ByuN, with the double wall off here at the front with the barracks right at the start of the game, he'll probably keep playing it. Every time I've seen him play it though, he always seems to get into an advantage, which is kind of nice. Okay, now Stimpak is used. That is a pretty expensive Stimpak. There is quite a bit of Queen energy available, but honestly, there might just not be enough Zerg. Yeah, and this is a relatively basic push, right? It's funny that like after 12 years of StarCraft 2, some of those early game builds are still not entirely figured out. That brings us to Data C, and that is already match point right here for ByuN. Now, one thing I've noticed actually in soO's games is that he oftentimes seems to get stuck on Wings of Liberty units. So he obviously started playing back in Wings of Liberty, right? But, okay, I've just looked it up exactly, which units were released with Heart of the Swarm as well as with Legacy of the Void. So, with Heart of the Swarm, they introduced the Viper as well as the Swarm Host. Now, when's the last time you've seen soO play either of those two units? I don't remember. With Legacy of the Void, they introduced the Ravager and the Lurker. I mean, I do know that he likes to play Lurkers and sometimes Vipers actually in combination as well. Maybe he planned on going for Ravagers in game number 1, but soO very much so seems to be stuck playing Wings of Liberty in 2022, which is kind of funny. Obviously, a lot of the units that he plays, they also did get some changes too. Mutiling Bane, however, is mostly the same. Mostly the same. Maybe it's time to broaden your horizons, soO. Mix in a little bit of Roach Ravager as well. Wouldn't mind seeing that at all. Okay. Well, it's gonna be Hatch Gas Pool once again here. He needs to step it up, that's for sure. Look at ByuN, by the way. ByuN is freestyling his builds right now. Not going for the low ground wall off, not going for the high ground wall off. Instead, we're gonna go for a Reaper, and we want to send it across as quickly as possible, but we don't really want to proxy it. Right? So this is like, again, like a bit of a safe proxy inside of his own main base. The only downside here is that he's gonna have to fly this over here, I would imagine, but there is a chance he's just gonna go for a factory here. Now, that doesn't, like, the problem here is if you have it positioned over there, and you want to go for an add-on, say you want to go for a reactor over here and then switch it over with a factory, you want to go for some Hellion production, you would have to fly one of those structures way too far. So I can imagine that after the Marine, he'll probably be flying this barracks back. But this does make things a little bit awkward here. Anyhow, Reaper is going to arrive like 3 seconds earlier though, so maybe not even that. Honestly, how much can this really take? I think it's like a 2-second difference right here on the Reaper. But, you know what? Yeah. Hey, that 2 seconds? Okay, well, maybe I got a little too excited there. There's definitely a chance, though, that soO looks at the clock right now and he's like, wait a second, how does that make any sense? You're supposed to arrive at 2:23, not at 2:21. What exactly are you playing? Is this a 12 depot into, I don't know, like, when exactly did you place down all your structures? Well, losing the Reaper right there kind of nullifies everything, though. The entire mind game you've gone for. Really, this is what we're doing. So we're gonna follow this up, I think, with a 3rd supply depot to complete the wall. I mean, it's fine. Assuming soO does not go for Ravagers. I mean, no, he doesn't. We've already discussed that. He's not gonna go for Ravagers, right? But, So you see how normally there would be 2 Hellions rolling out right now? Maybe a couple seconds later? Yeah, right now we've only got 1 because of the weird situation with those early game structures. The fact that there's no wall off though is kind of funny to me. Imagine this was just a pure Zergling flood. Or a Baneling bust. Or a Roach Ravager cheese. Or anything along those lines. But ByuN right now knows that he's been playing his opponent like a fiddle over the first 2 games of this best-of-5. And he's like, you know what? We're playing a series here, buddy. I'm not playing a single ladder game. I know that you know what I know, that we know. That I know that you're probably not gonna cheese me. Something like that anyways. Oftentimes I find myself playing checkers on the StarCraft 2 ladder, but these guys are playing 4D chess. Playing multiple boards at the same time somehow. Alright, now we do have additional barracks coming up as well, so... It is going to be a ByuN mid-game, but just a little bit of a different approach. The thing is, though, with all this fanciness that ByuN is going for here, if you just look at the worker count... So, soO's is playing stock standard here. Maybe pulling all the drones out of gas there for a little bit was a little bit out of the ordinary, but either way, he's been powering out workers. And right now he's already at 50 drones, and there's really nothing that ByuN has done on the other side of the map. So sometimes when you're trying to play a super fancy game and you think you're playing 4D chess, turns out you should maybe just be playing checkers instead. There's the lair. There's the bailing nest as well. That's kind of funny to me as well. Maybe he's concerned for like a hellbat push or something like that, but I'm not exactly sure why you would go for the lair after the bailing nest. Either way, should be a-okay here. As long as he gets bailing speed done at a appropriate timing, you can defend essentially any timing attack that Terran wants to go for. So now the Evo chambers are coming up as well, okay. Additional gases too. I don't think he's gonna have enough gas for both 1-1 as well as the centrifugal hooks research. So I'm not exactly sure what soO's is trying to get done here. I mean, he will get gas eventually, obviously, but not by the time that the Evos finish up and not by the time that the lair finishes up either. He's gonna need 400 gas. Quick math. He's gonna need 400 gas, and he's got 250. He doesn't even have minerals right now. Yeah, that lair bailing nest timing is a little funny, but... Okay. Decides to prioritize the 1-1 research. And he might just actually once again go for a Spire here. Okay, no. Thought maybe he wanted to go for a Spire before bailing speed. Okay. Well, all the roads do lead to Rome eventually, and apparently... Even though the order in which he's making things are... maybe not necessarily the most optimal, it doesn't matter all too much, because as long as he finishes up the upgrades in time, everything is a-okay. How many barracks do we have? We've got 5 barracks currently. One thing that ByuN has been doing quite a bit lately as well, especially in series I've noticed, is go for 3 command center, 8 racks all in. Ooh, okay, well that was a juicy couple of hits right there on those creep tumors. 2-2 has just started up as well for ByuN right away. Mostly just doing a little bit of creep clearing, I imagine, but... What unit are we going to add on top of this, soO's? Is it just going to be Lings and Banes? Okay, good targeting there as well by ByuN. Trying to get rid of those Banes. Does end up losing one of the medeffects. For this to be an Ultra build, so we've seen a couple of Ultra builds as well. So usually you then go for a Hive when 2-2 starts up. Although the upgrades here are a little bit late. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. You could go into Hydras and then eventually Lurkers as well, but like we already discussed, that's a Legacy of the Void unit. So, not part of soO's vocabulary, his Zergcabulary. No, I think it has to be a Hydra then into a Hive. Okay. Poor Jimmy here, man. Look at him. Somehow disintegrates while floating up. How does it work? One of the top 10 things that science cannot explain. I mean, underwater as well. There's something going on here, man, at the sea bottom of Data Sea. Okay, a couple of units here in the middle of the map get caught. It's just gonna be Lings and Banes, by the way. Just Lings and Banes. For it to just be Lings and Banes, I feel like the upgrades are so late, but sometimes upgrades don't really matter all too much, because now the mineral line is on fire. Additional units are coming across. Widowmine tries to burrow, and it does burrow in time, but it actually explodes. Yeah, and GG is cold. It turns out soO's doesn't need anything fancy to get a point on the board. All he needs to do is just play a super clean early game. Are we gonna do it again? Next up, we are on Waterfall. This is a map with a very quick rush distance from natural to natural. Got a feeling that ByuN is gonna do the exact same build once again, and it's been working out well for him so far. Obviously, soO's has had a little bit of time at this point to think about it. So I'm expecting it's once more going to be a double barracks. So let's see. That's going to be a 16 Rex. A 16 gas. So supply count, that is. When exactly do we go for the second barracks? I guess whenever you can afford it while making non-stop SCVs. Yeah, so he's actually just rallying the 17th SCV towards the low ground. Okay, so it's 16, 16, 17 supply right there. Now on this map, you do need a second supply depot. But I guess in these spawn locations, right, it's a little bit more comfortable as well. At least in the Terran's mind, I'm pretty sure you would imagine losing your creep tumor, or not your creep tumor, sure, your add-ons over and over and over again, which kind of sucks. Anyhow, Overlords are gonna figure this out momentarily. They're already heading across the map, and, well, ByuN is gonna start up his very first Reaper. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you can go for a command center over here and not hit a supply block. So just mining 5 minerals there. That just shows how optimized this build already is, right? The fact that he knows that he can mine out 5 additional minerals there, not get supply blocked, still finish the depot in time, make sure you don't get early game cheesed. Pretty sweet. And now this bad boy, is that the 17 supply SCV? Okay, no, I thought maybe that one was gonna wait there for a moment to start up the command center. But anyway, hatch gas pool right here from soO. Nothing all too spicy. We've seen this a million times. He's trying to sneak out a third drone right now, or a third base drone. Yeah, so this is a different approach than what he did 2 games ago. So he's hiding the drone over at the third. He doesn't currently have the minerals to make that, and I don't think he's gonna have any resources for it for at least not a little while, but once he does, he's gonna feel pretty good. So he once more pulled all the drones out of gas. This is gonna give him maximum mineral income since the queens, the zerglings, the hatcheries, the drones, the overlords, everything just costs minerals. So now we go for a third hatch. Okay. Yeah, so he's not overreacting this time, right? Like last time we saw him going for like 12 zerglings and no third hatch. This time around it's 6 zerglings. Oh, ooh, miscontrol right there by ByuN. Uncharacteristic mistake. But he's adjusting. He's adjusting. Thought for a second he was going to lose that second Reaper as well. That would have been rough. And now he goes for the double barracks in the main base once more. So last time we saw him playing this on Stargazers, he ended up losing to the 4 barracks push, right? Because, like, here's the thing. When you're going against say you're going against a 2-1-1 opener, right? So you're going against a 2-1-1 opener with 2 Medevacs, Stimpack, and, you know, 16 Marines, right? We've seen that one many times before. You need, against that particular build, about 30 to 35 Zerglings. That's a good number to have, it seems. You start making lings at like 430 until you have about that many, and then you can go back to droning. Against the triple Rex opener, similar approach, you just need a little bit more. But against the quadruple Rex, how many Zerglings do you make? When do you stop making them? When do you go back to droning? Can you hold it with more creep spread? Because that's always the question that Zerg players are asking themselves at this point in the game. Like, how many units do I have to make? And how many drones can I get away with? You never really want to be over-making army here. You want to always be optimizing your work account. So I'm curious to see when soO's starts making army here. If he's going to start making a little bit of army, and then a couple of drones, and then a little bit of army, and then a couple drones again, that would be an indicator that he's not 100% sure. But for now, he's confidently droning. Okay, more drones. There's a chance he's going to stop at 430. That's what I would do, but I don't know. Going more queens. You don't need a bailing nest, by the way, I don't think. Although you could maybe go for one. I would imagine he starts making units right about right now. No, he starts up... Okay, well, one more drone. Just for good measure. One more drone just for good measure. And now we start Zergling production. So you could have started up these links a little bit sooner. Either way, we're going up to 10 queens here. No, 11 queens here. That's more than we normally expect. He also confirms it here with a Zergling Scout too. So we have a lot of queens here, a lot of energy. This might just be the way to hold this. So Zerglings here confirm exactly what's going on. He's gonna evacuate the natural. Whoa, okay. He's evacuating the natural and going for double spine. Yeah, it's an SCV pool with it as well. So I think that's what ByuN is switching up in this particular game. Now you do kind of need a bailing nest. Didn't really consider the fact he was going to pull the boys with this as well. This is a complete all-in here, though, from the Terran player, so... I mean, losing these SCVs would really suck. Okay, is he gonna collapse on top of this right now? He doesn't really have enough, though. No, he's just gonna try and attack this with the queen. Stimpak has just been activated, though. That obviously means that ByuN is hurting his own units. Wrap around with the Zerglings, but there are so many Marines. Still, though, yeah, that's a lot of queens as well. There's still 11 queens available. Maybe the Zerglings have died, but 13 SCVs have already gone down as well. Spine crawlers from the main base, running on down towards the third as well. And the queens, just shooting spines. Shoot, shoot, shoot your spines gently at the Marines. It's a nursery rhyme from the Zerg, I think. Love that one. Okay, so one queen ended up going down, but they've been putting in a lot of work. Okay, so the all-in failed. I actually do like, though, that ByuN decided to go for a variation of the same build again. I mean, if he would have had a Baneling Nest against this, it would have been... Yeah, it wouldn't have even been close, because a couple of Banelings there would have absolutely blown up the SCVs, and... Suddenly then, well, we're gonna pull the boys for a second wave as well. Suddenly then, there would just not be a lot left over, but... He's been making a couple drones again. Su needs to be very careful. Now he realizes that once more there's an army coming across, but I don't think he had a scouter unit for that available earlier. Those spine crawlers, though, they can be transfused for a very long time. Well, there you go, yeah. Rapid fire transfuse on one spine crawler. Zerglings got absolutely demolished. A lot more Lings, though, are popping out of their cocoons right now. Queens just trying to keep one and another alive for as long as possible. Whew, okay. I think he's alright. Yeah, I think Su has done it. I mean, there are still 31 workers available. But this is... I mean, you can go for another wave if you want to. Still no Ravagers, by the way. Still no Roaches. Just Wings of Liberty units. There was obviously a Nidus Worm as well in Wings of Liberty, right? So, I mean, even though the Nidus network has gone through a lot of changes over the years, technically a Wings of Liberty build. I'm gonna count it as a Wings of Liberty build, even though, you know, the strategies here are a lot more refined than what we used to see back then. I mean, there were a lot of one-base versus one-base games. Hard to imagine that right now. An attempt at a fourth hatch honestly doesn't really matter all too much, as long as Su can spend his money. I mean, one downside of having that many queens at the front for so long is that he hasn't actually been injecting us properly, so... Yeah, he starts up more queens here just to drop his mineral bank a little. Su scouts the main base, all of his Terran opponent, and he sees that there's no third command center. So... Yeah, Baneling speed is all you need. Hey guys, I'm a Marine. I'm totally a Marine. I promise you guys, I am a Marine. Couple of Marines, though, out on the map as well. I mean, they're doing a good job target firing down the Banes, but they still end up being dead. Are we gonna pull the boys again? Aw, come on, man. Third time's the charm. Bring the boys. They want to fight? I don't think we're bringing the boys. Yeah, Bane speed at this point is finished, though. And with Baneling speed done, this should be a lot easier here for Su to defend. I mean, there's two tanks. But I think Su is going to say thank you as he grabs the both of them. Hey, non-native English speaker joke. There it is. GG. All right, and that brings us to the fifth and final game in this Best of 5 series, and that one takes place on the map Inside and Out. Once more, we've got Mr. ByuN opening with the same build. You know what? After that previous game, I'm not nearly as impressed by the build order, that is. It looked really good right there on Stargazers, but not 100% sure about it right now. Hey, remember, by the way, Su, I'm trying to craft a nice title for this particular YouTube video. No Ravagers, no Lurkers, no Vipers, no Swarmos, okay? I'd really appreciate it, man. Thank you. 16 supply hatchery, 18 supply gas geyser, 17 supply spawning pool. That has been the gold standard in StarCraft 2 for quite a while now. Now you can rally the next couple of drones straight to the gas. Does he not set up a rally point until we actually... okay, there you go. Until he actually finishes the third one. No. There you go. So the next 3 go into the gas geyser. Then you mine 100 gas, pull the drones out. Usually you pull 2 out, but Su apparently is fond of pulling them all out. And you can add them back in when the Zergling speed finishes up. First 100 gas goes to the link speed. Second 100 gas usually goes for a lair, then a baneling nest. Although Su is mixing that up a little bit, it seems. Anyhow. Oh, okay, it's a variation of the same theme. I see. So ByuN, rather than going for... okay. Yeah, rather than going for an aggressive all-in, he decides to now follow it up with a factory on the low ground instead. Which is still kind of funny. Because now exactly what is the advantage here to... You know, rather than building it over... What's the... I don't know. Anyhow. Just a single Reaper. Just a little bit of variety, okay? After years of playing SimCity and making efficient towns, at some point you really just want to make that one busy intersection, right? You just want to stop traffic flow. That's... I don't know. Maybe ByuN thinks he booted up the wrong game. He thinks he's playing City Skylines over here. There have been a lot of city builders recently that have come out, ByuN. I've actually been really enjoying them over at the live stream. For those of you unfamiliar, I stream most days between 2 and 8 p.m. Central European time. So that's twitch.tv/LowkoTV. There's a link down below in the description of this video too. Yeah, there have been a lot of great city builders lately. Currently playing one called Ixion. That one's pretty sick. Just went to early access. I've been playing Timberborn. I've been playing Against the Storm. I mean, all of those are pretty recent. If you need any suggestions, ByuN, just let me know, okay? So yeah, it's just a 1-1-1 opener here, just in a really weird way. Doesn't matter much. But yeah, just a good old 1-1-1. Or as they call it in Germany, 1-1. 1. I don't think that's what they call it in Germany. Maybe they do actually, I have no idea. The 1-1-1. Ein Barack. Eins garage. Or I don't know. Anyways, Hellions. I don't know what a factory would be called in ein Maschinenwerkshop. Something like that, probably. Anyways, we do have a couple of Hellions here. Trying to deal damage. Succeeding as well. They're not just trying. 6 drones. Reaper has now also arrived. Okay, there's the Banshee flying across the map. So I guess what you do get out of this, you know what? Normally, if the barracks and the starport and the factory are over here, that Banshee would have flown past one of these two overlords. And right now, it went straight in between. So this Banshee has already scored. This is the first time Su is going to see the Banshee. He starts up a spore. Yeah, you know what? That might actually be pretty sick. Yeah, he starts up spores everywhere right now. Cloaking field is going to finish in a couple of seconds. Same can be said right here, though, for that that spore crawler. There it is. Okay, 5 drones. Not bad at all. You know what? I was critical of this SimCity here at the start, but I take it back. Look at the big switcheroos, man. ByuN just wants to make a little bit of everything. All of the time. A little bit of everything. All of the time. This Banshee's having a grand old time. Actually dealing so much damage. Oy, oy, oy. Yeah, this is a disaster. This is a train wreck of a game. Now the Hellions, okay, together with that one Reaper, also go into the third. Where's the Zerglings? They are out on the map. Ooh, he just lost. Oh my god, he just lost a lot of workers. That is the full mineral line gone, I don't think. Or I thought ByuN was gonna target that final drone there, but instead he ends up targeting. Oh. Alright, well instead he ended up targeting the Zerglings. Su's looking at this game, he knows that everything's been falling apart. And you know what? It's because of the way that ByuN positioned those structures over at the natural.